Hi, it's Michelle, Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live. We are going live today with two of my good girlfriends, chefs, friends, brand ambassadors, women I'm inspired by, and women that I think you will all enjoy watching and listening today. So let me introduce both of them to you today. First, there's Marilee from Making Meals Matter. And then there's Chef Jill Sullivan from, everybody knows Chef Jill. She's on LinkedIn quite a bit. So first, before we get started, I met both of these women, I think online. I met Jill on LinkedIn. I know that for sure. And Marilee, I think I was a guest on your show initially.
Yep.
And then both of these talented women became brand ambassadors for Luvafoodie. So they both do videos. They do really good clean eating recipes. And I'm honored to have both of them as guests today. Marilee, tell us a little bit about you and what you're going to make for us today.
I'm a mom of two teenagers. I love cooking. I've always been inspired by fresh ingredients, clean eating. Um, the flavors of the spice blends just add that extra special punch, which because it's a blend, I don't have to have a whole bunch of different spices. And as a mom, I want things fast, fresh, easy. It doesn't take much time. Yeah, so, and I'm also a divorce coach and a life transition coach, and that leaves not a lot of time to be in the kitchen. So I'm so grateful for meeting Michelle, knowing her story, and being able to support her and her business with loving the food that I get to create using it. So today I actually made hummus, but I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to incorporate the hummus into a quick and easy appetizer, which my kids love. I use seafood a lot living in California.
And I have to say, your kids eat really well because Marilee doesn't just do like hamburgers and hot dish. She does really gourmet, like ceviche and very inspiring, healthy, but very interesting dishes. And her plating is exceptional, absolutely exceptional. I'm just honored that she's takes the time to create some dishes using Luvafoodie spices. Next, we have Chef Jill Sullivan. She is a favorite on LinkedIn. She also does Sunshine Around the World. She does a lot of sunrise pictures that I think, Jill, you started during COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually had a little bit of a mental breakdown, and probably a lot of people can relate with this after COVID, and the workload just got real heavy, and so I quit my job in December, and I decided to start a YouTube channel because it was either do a YouTube channel and continue cooking or just sit around and feel sorry for myself. So that's what I did, and I really am passionate about cooking. I love cooking. People ask me what my hobbies are, and cooking is my hobby. As bizarre as that is, it's just like I find myself in the kitchen 24/7 because I just love it. And when you, like Marilee said, when you can use Luvafoodie spices and fresh ingredients, it kicks it up a notch, and it makes you even want to cook more when you start tasting the fresh flavors and creating new things for people. And then people that I cook for really love it too. So
Yes, your husband's very lucky. What are you going to cook for us today? What are you going to make?
I am going to make some chimichurri, inspired by one of my friends on LinkedIn, who actually I was on his podcast last month, and I forget his name. Anyway, he knows
Okay.
who he is, right? You know who you are. Anyway, he sells chimichurri, and I thought I would explore. I've never made it in a mortar. I have a mortar right here,
Okay.
and usually, like Marilee said, you make it in a blender or
Right.
something like that. But I thought I would use my mortar, and it gets really the garlic and things really incorporate really nice into the fresh ingredients that we have, the herbs.
Okay.
And,
Interesting. Are you going to put that on meat then, Jill?
yeah, so what I'm going to do is this is my favorite steak. I'm going to be seasoning this flat steak or skirt steak, And
Okay.
then I'm going to just sizzle it on the pan and then top it with some chimichurri.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna try it. I've never had two guests on, so we had some technical issues. So bear with me, everybody. If you were on right at 4 o'clock Central Time and you didn't see us, it's because it was my fault. I am not the most technical person in the world. I will be the first to admit it. And my audio on my computer was muted, so it had nothing to do with StreamYard. So I think it might be fun to kind of go between Marilee and Jill as they're preparing what they're doing, and feel free, both of you, to talk when you're talking. The way StreamYard works is that the camera or the focus of the square will be on you. So it kind of jumps around, and if we have any questions, I will definitely let you know what they are. So let's just
Yep.
both begin, and feel free to interject as you're beginning.
Okay.
Well, and Jill, both of you as chefs, you understand that every time you get in the kitchen, and I'm passionate about travel, so especially during COVID, I was able to travel the world from my kitchen every day.
I like that.
It was my goal to inspire families to spend time together, get in the kitchen, learn recipes, try new things, and the spice blends help you do that. From the sesame lovers, smokehouse lovers, there's Little Italy, like all these different umami blends. And so I was able to get creative and sometimes even blended a couple of the 2 spice blends to give it a unique flavor.
Yeah.
So I found that between that and then now all these teas you do, which is, I did a blend of the raspberry and lemon. It's so good. It's so good.
And Jill, that's how we first met you. I believe you ordered your sister the variety pack of iced teas.
I did. Why didn't I order myself? I could have been drinking tea with you guys today.
I'll have to send you some. So yeah, I like that. I like the idea that, yes, I'll say escape to Italy with Little Italy, the spice blend, or escape to Jamaica with the Jamaican lovers. And so it is true. I think also with COVID, because for 2.5 or almost 2 years, we couldn't really eat out, or not eat out the way we wanted, or eat in, I should say. So I think families and chefs and eating at home became more creative. People dabbled in ethnic food. They dabbled in variety more than they normally would have because they had to cook so much more. Kids were home for lunch. Kids were home for dinner. Moms were making sometimes 3 meals a day. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
So you try to make ingredients go a lot longer. So one way I did that is buy a bulk chicken breasts, slice them, and then I'd marinate them in individual packages, whether it's glass dishes or Ziploc bags, some dressing, and then I'd zhuzh it with one of the seasonings. It gave new flavors. I could have an Italian one with pesto, and I would have one with maybe some marinara that I've added the spice blend. I didn't start from scratch every time. I don't have the time for that, especially being a coach. So something that I use a lot is hummus. And I made this earlier because I didn't want all the loud noise. But I'll tell you, it's 1 can of garbanzo beans rinsed. Like, it's super easy. And I put it in my blender with 2 to 4 tablespoons of water, depending upon how creamy or wetter you want it. It just depends. People like it different ways. I use 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of the garlic lovers, because I love garlic, and 3/4 teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin, and then salt to taste.
How about do you use tahini?
I don't, because I don't want to carry it. I don't have any other use for it. So
maybe it's just the olive oil that adheres it good.
No lemon juice, Jill? I mean, Marilee, no lemon juice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 tablespoon of lemon juice.
Okay.
So FYI, whether you use garbanzo beans or you use white beans, you can use kidney beans. It'll do the same thing. And you can add more cumin when you do black beans and smear it on a tortilla with other veggies, fajita veggies, and you've got an instant meal with high protein veggies. It's delish. So
And very low in as far as cost, because you can buy a can of garbanzo beans for under $2, right?
well, yeah, they have them at the Dollar Tree. Now it's $1.25, but
Oh, they do. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
inflation.
inflation, you guys. And so I think it's important. I mean, I live alone. Jill, you've got 2 people you cook for, you and your husband. But Marilee, you've got 2 daughters.
Mhm.
And I think we really do have to watch our ingredients when we're shopping, because you can spend, $100 on one meal
Yeah.
easily, right?
Well, at the Chateau Recovery where I work, I cook for at least 27, at least. Sometimes there's 30. So I buy in bulk from US Foods, and you are not kidding. If you can find a good deal on whatever your chicken breast or steak, I found I got a really good deal on 40 pounds of chicken legs for $5.72 for the whole case.
Wow.
No.
I was like, just Florida. They have
Wow.
what's called special deals. So anyway, yeah. So I do what Marilee does, is I break them into sections, and then put your Luvafoodie all over them. I spread the love all over those
I know.
things.
Wherever you work, they sure eat good.
And yeah, and
Yeah, they do.
yeah, I was telling Marilee yesterday that some people just cook so basic. More power to them. But I love using all kinds of seasonings, and I think that's our little edge, that we have your seasoning blends, because they're
Yes.
phenomenal. They are phenomenal.
Well,
And like I was going to say too. Sorry to interrupt. When I cook, I have a lot of different needs: keto, gluten free, all these things, and they can't have added sugars. One girl just had her stomach done. What's that called? The GI, and she can't have any sugar. So I really, really love using your seasoning blends that they don't have sugar and all the additives.
yep,
So
clean eating. Well,
clean
like I
food.
said to both of you, you've been part of Luvafoodie cooking and making recipes for at least a year and no, 2 years, because it's been prior to COVID. Go
Yeah.
ahead, yeah, go ahead, Marilee. And someday I hope you both will be doing more for me in a larger way. Just really depends
Well,
who's on board to help me out. I'm
maybe.
ready.
Are you talking about flying to Italy with you, or
Yeah, well,
Florida? I'm in.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
We just need some people to help move Luvafoodie a little bit along. Those would be called
right.
investors.
My dish today is inspired by the Mediterranean because I turned
Oh,
50 this year, and
I
I
love
was in
Mediterranean.
Greece. I know. So the hummus is a great spread on a lot of things, and so that's today's. Technically, that hummus took me 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I
And
love hummus.
right now I have a cast iron with a tablespoon of oil. I'm going to start with the red pepper and just kind of saute it, throw in the shrimp, and I'm done. Because I already took cucumber and just slice it. Like it
Oh,
takes seconds. And so we'll top it with the shrimp that's been seasoned. And I'm going to start with hummus. So it's a cucumber, hummus, shrimp, and the roasted red peppers.
oh, interesting.
Do you mind
Interesting.
if I grill my steak while you're doing
Jill,
that, Marilee?
yeah, Jill, go ahead and start your steak.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
You guys
are
ever
you
seen one of
starting?
these?
Well, no, I don't have one. Is that for oil?
oh, I like it.
You have one, Marilee? I love
No,
it.
I need
Okay,
it.
that's
I
my
do too.
tip for the day. No more aerosols. This is
Love
this. You just spray it into the pan.
Now,
That's
what
pretty cool.
brand is Jill? What brand is that?
I
Or
don't
where
know.
did you get it?
I ordered it from Amazon.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's like olive oil in there.
Olive oil. You could do avocado oil. Anyway, go ahead, Marilee. Sorry.
No, I'm good. So, like I said, it's just a quick tablespoon of oil. And I have a half cup, because they cook down a little bit, red pepper just sliced.
Yeah.
Because I just want little bits to put on top. So I'll add that in. As you can hear, it sizzle.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to add some salt and pepper
Okay.
to both sides of my skirt steak.
Did you pound the skirt steak, Jill, or did it come that thin?
This is how it came.
Okay.
And I just let it reach room temperature.
Okay.
That way it cooks more evenly.
So with me, I just do a pinch. So a pinch of the garlic lovers in there.
Okay.
I'd say that's probably a half teaspoon based on what's in there right now. Just move it around. It's on pretty high heat.
Okay.
Because it all cooks pretty quick, and I don't want them to be limp. I like a little crunch.
Right.
To them.
I do too.
Like al dente. I don't like my vegetables soggy. I like them. I say al dente. I know that's a pasta term, but like not raw, but not mush. I like a snap to them, like a snap to my vegetables.
Today the shrimp was on sale. I've ordered a quarter pound for $1.25.
Where do you shop?
It's at Pavilions. It's one of our big groceries. It's not even like a discount or anything.
Wow.
That's pretty good. I'm going to put some Luvafoodie on my meat.
Good idea, Jill.
Sorry, this is Meat Lovers.
Meat Lovers. Yep.
Love that one. And then we got the barbecue.
Nice.
What I like about your barbecue, it has some heat.
It does.
I like it.
Yep. And the Meat Lovers is our second best seller. Garlic Lovers #1, Meat Lovers #2, Seafood Lovers #3. But I think Smokehouse Lovers, since it's new, I think it's going to surpass some of the other ones. I don't know. But Marilee, that recipe you're making, would you serve that as an appetizer?
I would serve it as an appetizer based on what I'm offering you. But if you threw onions in there and some another pepper in there, you can do a whole like stir fry over rice. You could add it onto a salad. You could put it in a wrap. It could be, it could go any number of ways. It's so delicious. And technically, in one more minute, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. The hummus on all the cucumber, then each shrimp, and then the red pepper. Because so I've got the garlic, and then I put a pinch of umami.
That's just amazing how you made a recipe the other day, and I would never ever have thought to do
Yes.
margarita spice and umami, and you put it on salmon, which
so good,
so interesting, so creative.
Well, in my head, the way I was not classically trained, so I learned a lot by tasting and playing. I didn't have rules.
That's the advantage you have.
So when I go in the kitchen, I learn basics. How do I cook a steak? How do I cook chicken? And when do I season it? And then I learned about ways in which to use the juices to make a sauce and add in other flavors and layer. Because as a college kid, I still want to eat well, but I'm on a budget. And fast forward, after a divorce, I got to cut costs again, but I never wanted to sacrifice the quality of food I'm eating. So Jill, share what you're doing.
I am grilling my skirt steak. You want to hear that sizzle. Get a good sear on it. We're only going to cook it for about 2 or 3 minutes on each side. So it should be really hot. And
right, because skirt steak can get tough if you overcook it, right, Jill?
Yeah, so this is really thin. So it's going to be, I don't want it well done.
No.
Do you like yours rare or medium rare? I do.
Yes.
What'd you say?
She said yes.
Like, it might as well be mooing on its own, right?
You like it real blue. Blue.
I always press the meat down into the pan too. It's a good sear.
Now, is that just a regular skillet, Jill?
This is a granite.
Oh.
Granite. I don't know the brand, but I love it. I use it for everything.
So does your husband ever cook, or does he always rely on you to cook?
What's that?
Does your husband ever cook, or does he always rely on you to cook?
I have
your
to
husband?
My new job, I work from 6 or 6:30 in the morning till about usually 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
So if he wants dinner, he has to make dinner. I'll come home and he's making a salad and he'll say, do you want a salad? Or Do you want whatever? And so cute, but I usually have eaten dinner there. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's a really good cook.
is he? I know he
Yeah,
does a lot with the smoker. You guys have a smoker.
yeah. We haven't. I haven't really used that too much until this summertime. You know, I know it's too cold here. That looks really good, Marilee.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, Marilee, that looks
Isn't
fantastic.
that great?
So you put the hummus. I see that. What did you top on top of? What's on top of the shrimp?
Those are roasted red pepper.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Can I have one?
Yeah, I know.
Pass it through the
Red
phone.
pepper because it has the garlic seasoning and it has umami.
Oh,
Oh, so good.
so can you take one cucumber and hold it up to the camera with the top? With that's a really pretty appetizer. Oh, it's beautiful. And you scored the cucumbers, didn't you? You took off a
Yep.
little of the.
So I just took part of the skin off because if you use Persian cucumbers and slide on the diagonal, leave the skin on. With an English cucumber, sometimes the skin is a little hard. It's a little thick. So I'll take it off and maybe in strips because I like the dark green. It looks kind of cool around the edges.
Right.
So yeah.
It's beautiful. I can I have one?
I'll make sure I take a picture.
Thank you. It looks really healthy, very light. I bet it would go really nice with a glass of Sauvignon Blanc or a glass of rosé.
Absolutely. So Jill, oh, that's looking yummy.
Ooh,
So
that
I got
looks
a good
great.
sear on this one. I put these in a little later.
Yeah.
You want to wait till you get a really good sear. That locks in the juices too.
Okay. And then are you going to let it rest?
Yes, that
And,
is important to let your meat rest.
and tell
You know,
people why. I mean, I know you know why, but why is it important?
Because I don't know.
I do. Because
Okay, tell me.
the sear holds in the juices, and so it keeps it more tender on the inside because you've seared and created a crust.
And if you cut it too soon, all the juices
cut it, it all runs out.
Right.
So
Right.
you gotta get
Especially like when you're making like a prime rib or a big roast or a duck, anything real large, it's really important to let it sit.
And you know what too is I always was conflicted at work because I like to let my meat rest on the counter for 2 or 3 hours.
Oh,
Which you
that's
probably shouldn't do that, but it lets all the seasonings really marinate into the meat, and then when it comes room temperature, it cooks more evenly. Because if it's cold inside, it's not gonna,
Oh, that's a tip too. Bring your meat up to room temperature before you cook
yeah.
it.
Like the other day, I did pork chops and I soaked them in buttermilk, but that was room temperature too, and the enzymes from the buttermilk break down the proteins of the meat and make it real tender.
So would you do that with chicken and fish and shrimp or just
Okay,
meat?
so this one's done.
Yeah, I would.
You would? Okay. Okay.
I think that is a trick question, and you know it. Are you setting me up? No, I'm
I'm
kidding.
not setting you up. I
I'm
wouldn't
a
do
little
that
more
to you.
cautious with the shrimp and chicken. You have to be because you don't want to get anybody sick.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's real important as a chef, and Jill, you know this, but if you're cooking, like sometimes I'll go do a demo, and there's been times where I'll have like 4 different things on the grill. I'll have chicken, pork, and I don't know, steak, beef. It's important not to cross-contaminate.
Exactly. It's really hard too when you work in a big kitchen and you're making lots of things. Like I have a couple of people that are paleo, a couple of people keto, and then the rest are just regular. So I'm making like different things hopping around. So I have to really be cautious not to, cross-contaminate.
Right.
That's not fair, Marilee. Give me one.
I know. How does that taste, Marilee? So what are the flavors described?
Over top. So I have a cucumber, right? Just kind of cool, crisp. Then I have the hummus that's got garlic in it, and a little bit of this one. I added a little bit of smokehouse, and then
That sounds so good.
Well, and then when I made the shrimp and the red pepper, I used garlic lovers and I used umami. And since the hummus has a little lemon, it has lemon in it.
Yep.
All these flavors just, I mean, if you wanted to take it up another notch, put cilantro on top. Just saying.
Just
Oh,
like
sure.
Emerald, kick it up a notch.
I
Yeah.
know.
I'm going to do that right now. Watch.
We
Bam.
had this.
How's that?
Bam. Oh yeah. So now, Jill, tell us how you're gonna make the chimichurri, because I've made
Okay.
it before. I love it. It's especially in the summertime.
It's so fresh. And like Marilee says, I usually put it in my bullet, but I got this mortar and I just wanted to try the different flavors, of
Yeah.
mashing and, into the, so I'm starting with garlic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Marilee, were you finished?
Oh, I'm finished. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
We'll come
starting
back
with
to
2 cloves.
Marilee.
Oops. Tilt.
Mm-hmm.
Almost fell off the counter. So I'm starting with a couple of garlic.
Okay.
Then I'm going to put a little bit of sugar, or you can use
Interesting.
swerve.
Now, Jill? Why are you putting sugar in it? I've made chimichurri before, and I've never put sugar in it.
You don't have to. I just like a little bit. I'm following actually. This is a Chef Ramsay recipe, and he puts a little bit of sugar. He said, when you're putting this onto it, it kind of breaks up the garlic. It blasts the garlic, so it can.
I can see that. I can see maybe it would cut the sharpness of the garlic.
It cuts the sharpness of the garlic. Yes.
Right.
Sorry, you know what? I'm a little nervous.
Why? You're doing a great job.
I'm like, yeah, I think I do this. Anyway, so
You both are doing a good job.
You're on stage. You're on stage. You're doing
This
great.
is fun having you both here together.
yeah, so the sugar breaks up the bitterness of the garlic. Okay, and it also brings the flavors out. Next, I'm going to be adding I have some fresh herbs here.
Okay.
I have dill, oregano, and mint.
No parsley?
Yeah, I have parsley right here. Can you see it?
Oh, I can see it. Okay, because
Parsley and cilantro, I got it in some water.
isn't that the main ingredient in chimichurri sauce?
Parsley, yeah.
I use parsley and cilantro.
Yeah, I've got cilantro in there.
Oh, when you make it?
Yeah, I don't have sugar. I use lemon. Your seasoning blends, I like the smoky flavor and I like the garlic flavor. So I throw that together in a lot.
So, Marilee, do your kids compliment you on your cooking every night? Do they say, "Oh, Mom, this tastes so good. Thank you, Mom"?
No, not every night. Because remember, some of it is what I want to eat. And I have their best intentions and their likes and dislikes kind of in the back of my mind. I'm not going to make something knowing they're not going to like it, right?
Right.
So some of my meals are deconstructed so that they have all the different components, carbs and fats, and and sometimes that's a condiment like guacamole, and there's a protein in there. Sometimes it's a bean plant protein. Sometimes it's a meat protein because I love steak. And so deconstructed meals are a way to then reuse what's left over and refashion it into something else. So yeah.
And I do that all the time. In fact, if you're cooking for huge crowds and you have, let's say, chicken left, you have to know a recipe that you can roll that into.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to have a ton of leftovers.
Yes.
Really.
Tacos.
I just added some fresh mint.
Okay.
Do you do mint in yours?
Mm-mm.
No,
I don't either.
I'm trying it this time.
But I like Jill, that you're adding more herbs than I normally do. I just normally use parsley.
Parsley, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying it. Something different. I heard you could even put spinach. So far I have oregano, dill, mint, and I'm gonna put that through the mortar here.
You know what? Also, you could use arugula.
Paprika.
Arugula,
yeah.
Arugula, because arugula is spicy. That might be kind of, it's I love arugula.
That's so versatile in everything too. It has a really nice flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that's another thing that as a cook I realized how many tops of things we get. Oh, look at that. We get rid of, like radish tops and carrot tops and the tops of celery. You can all use all that. Beet.
My co-chef was throwing them away. I'm like, ah!
I know.
Those are great in salad, right?
But see, where it's not really discussed. What does one do with it? And usually they're ripped off at the grocery store. So why would you think you'd want to use them? So it's just doing a little more investigation and using as much as you can in your cooking.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the same with like the stems of cilantro. I put the stem in, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the flavor comes from. I don't waste anything.
I don't love the stems when I'm making salsa. It's kind of funky for me. But when I'm making chimichurri, I throw it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mind this. I use the stems actually when I'm making like a rice and I'll throw them in.
Yeah. Yeah. To season your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So now I've got the parsley.
That looks good, Jill.
Can you see that? So what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of lemon juice in it.
Okay. I bet it smells really good too, because when you
oh
know,
my gosh.
I bet it smells really fresh with the mint and the. I can't wait.
Another thing is too, like a lot of people just have steak, right?
Right.
Or like we like to create new things, but some people just have steak. I like to have a little something on top, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm throwing some lemon juice in here.
My mouth is watering.
So good.
It's about, it's almost time for me to have dinner, so I'm not quite.
Yeah, it's about 5 o'clock, isn't it?
Not quite, but it's I'm starting to think about dinner. So watch you make these delicious.
So the other thing about making meals matter, and as I'm a divorce recovery coach, it's getting moms to remember that their little people are very capable of helping and learning, and they like the responsibility of getting to make a meal because you see it from start to finish. And they're learning skills, math skills. It's time for you to talk. They're not on their electronics, which is a big battle sometimes for parents, So I've used cooking as a way to teach them and inspire them and connect with them.
And are they, no, you have two daughters. Haley is 16.
Haley just turned 15.
15, and she's taking driver's ed.
And Emma has just started driving. She's 16 and a half.
Oh, I didn't realize they were so close in age.
Oh, yeah. It's a blessing when they're little, though. Go ahead, Jill. What are you adding?
So I just added some lemon juice and lemon rind.
Okay.
Now I'm adding some olive oil.
Oh, yum.
And Jill, what consistency are you trying to get to?
Like a rough, so it's not blended fully like you would in a blender. You got some chunks, but you're making sure that all the little flavors like the garlic is, mint, really fine. So it flows into the flavors here.
So again, just like
that looks so good, you guys.
Oh, it does.
That looks amazing.
Just like hummus, consistency of a sauce, like a chimichurri, is up to you as a chef. If you want it creamier or runnier or thicker, it's up to you. There's no rule in what it needs to.
Yeah, like I wouldn't do this at work. This would take too long.
Yeah,
I always throw everything into the robo, and mix it up.
Right. You'd have to make it the day before if you were going to do it, Jill, for your job.
Yeah, and it lasts for about a week. Maybe even longer. Maybe you can freeze it too. How about
chimichurri is great on eggs.
I was going to say that also good on potatoes, baked potatoes.
Or pesto. Good on eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what else? Okay.
So I got my chimney.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to throw a little more olive oil in. I like a little bit of olive oil. And I should have olive oiled my meat before I cook this. So here we go. Just a little bit on top, not overpowering it.
So Jill, you're not slicing your steak first. You're going to just put it on top and then serve it like that?
No, I'll probably slice it. I'm just doing it for the show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
know, that would also be good if you put that in tortillas and made like steak tacos,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
right? You wouldn't even need salsa.
What do you think?
I
Oh
think
my
I'd
gosh.
like to come
Delicious.
over.
Yeah. So also, we know this, but a lot of people don't know that you cut against the grain. So if you see the grain running this way, you want to cut it this way. And I
Right.
usually cut it at a diagonal, thin,
Yes.
tacos or something. But
Yes.
It also makes a difference with chicken. You want to do the same thing with chicken.
yeah.
Right. Well, you both did a great job. What little, before we end, I want to know what's your favorite meal, and then what tips do you have for people as far as getting through the rest of the year? We're still dealing with COVID. We're dealing with the war. I mean, people are still hurting a lot. I do this weekly show, and even though COVID's on the downturn, there are a lot of people that are struggling. How to get by, the gas prices. I want to know from your perspective, first, what's your favorite thing to cook? And then how are you personally dealing with the state of situation as yourself, and also Marilee, probably a little bit more, but you as a mom with having two children that are also enduring what's going on in this world, which is tough. So
So I'll try to remember all the questions you had there.
what's your favorite meal
My
or favorite thing to
meal
cook?
to make has got to be fish tacos. Living in Southern California, I have seafood that's so close by, and it's sometimes less than what it's going to cost me for chicken. So, and beef is now skyrocketed. So, I use fish, and wild caught is absolutely my preference because you cannot guarantee what they are giving on a farm raised one. What else? You
They
talk.
add antibiotics in the food, right?
I
And
know.
yeah, hormones. And then I read that they put like a coloring in the food that turned like the salmon's like coho.
Pinker. They turn it pinker.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I read that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
How are you dealing with the current state of affairs? Still COVID, the war, life, inflation. For personally, and then you as a mom, because you've got two daughters that are also being affected by what's going on.
food is a community sport. I'm saying get the kids in the kitchen with you. Do potlucks with your friends. Have everyone share in the meal because right now we need each other. When we feel so isolated, instead of choosing to isolate, reach out, especially when mental health is such a problem right now. We might want to isolate a bit. My younger one does struggle with depression. And one of the ways we have worked with it is getting in the kitchen, talking, and having friends over, sharing in meals, getting off our devices. I have just been very creative, as Jill said. I shop sales at the grocery store. So
And
if
Marilee,
you,
being
even if
creative in the kitchen, also I want you to tell, before we move to Jill, tell us a little bit about what you do to help other divorced women, and how can people reach out to you, because we've got lots of followers on LinkedIn, and this will stream to other platforms. And I would think going through a divorce, being divorced, you know, is such a struggle in itself. And to have a coach, I told my mom about you, and she said, "Oh, I never heard about a coach, a lifestyle coach, or a divorce coach." I don't think that was around 30 years ago.
it isn't. So what the divorce rehab is what it's called. And they're on Facebook. You can find online, also website. And what we really do is we help you see that divorce is the best gift you didn't know you were given, because we go from recovering people pleasers and avoiders, and we say yes when we mean no. And you go from feeling insecure to empowered. You learn the tools to stand in your power. And what women really don't give enough credit to is you're modeling this for your children. So if you were like that in your marriage, that is how they're going to relate to their father and or future partners, unless this gets a new model and you get a new way of handling it. And it's a beautiful gift to see somebody go from insecure and unsure of themselves and meek and haven't paid bills before and haven't done their own insurance, and all of a sudden they come out vibrant again. And I'm not saying you get to be in control, because there's not control. I watch women get in charge and write the next chapter of their story the way they want to see it, living their best life. It's a beautiful
I love
thing.
that.
And
Marilee, how can
matters
people,
part of that.
okay, so how can people hire you? How can people get in touch with you? Because you are a divorce coach.
Well, I actually have a partner, and it's under her name. It's Wendy Sterling. And the Facebook group is the best thing to hop on. Go to Divorce Rehab and start watching podcasts. It's under that. Or jump in the Facebook group. Oh my gosh, so many great things. I mean, even for women, not even going through divorce, how to set healthy boundaries, right? And it starts with knowing what your values are. So please look us up, the Divorce Rehab, and follow, learn, grow. And the way you get through this is not by isolating, it's reconnecting. So for all the audience that's here, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully there were some nuggets that worked for you.
Yeah, that's
Marilee.
amazing. All that you're doing for that community, Marilee.
Thanks.
It is really benefiting the world when you do that in an eclectic way. Somebody you help might help someone else and
Absolutely.
help their children. And I know firsthand about isolation, because I did that after I had that little mental breakdown that I had. I isolated for a good 6 months. And recently at my work, I always, I have this thing inside of me that I can do it and I don't need help.
Mm-hmm.
And with the recovery center that I work at, everybody pitches in. And like I had a breakdown the other day because I was serving, I think it came up to 35. And I was feeling overwhelmed, and it was right before vacation, and I had to get my safe serve certificate, and it was just like everything, right?
Yeah.
Everybody came to my rescue and started doing dishes for me and doing, stuff. So it really is true. You gotta, not say to yourself, I can do it all, especially as management, you have to, say, I'm a human too, and I need help.
We call it
Exactly.
lone wolfing when you do it
Yeah.
alone. And a wolf is a pack animal. People kind of forget. So it's not, I'm grateful that you've transitioned and you understand that community is so important. I mean,
Yeah.
not only just for your job, but for your life in
But
general.
honestly, though, you have to feel safe in your surroundings too to ask for help. And I feel so safe in the new surroundings that I'm in, that it's just a great community. If anybody, and I'm going to be like you, Marilee, if anybody needs recovery, if you're going through drug or alcohol addiction, reach out to the Chateau Recovery in Midway, Utah. I know firsthand it's a team. They want to help you. And I've only been there 2 months, but I've seen so many great things, from the food to the health, to the mental health, to the therapists. It's just one big happy family there, and we really try hard. So I
That's
say
so awesome.
reach out if you're really struggling with alcoholism, drugs, um,
Depression. I think it's so
depression.
important, especially with everyone suffering the way they are. Everyone felt the effects of COVID in a different way. Young, old, children, working parents that all of a sudden had to worry about daycare, teaching their kids uh, school, helping them with school. Not every parent
So
is equipped
much.
for that. Not everyone is equipped, and we're still sorting through that. Now we have inflation. We've got high prices in the grocery store, gas. We have a war going on. It's a very tough time, and I think finding your people, finding your circle, asking for help is the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do is say, isolating yourself, thinking you can do it all. There's days where you can't do it all. There's days where I even say, I'm only human. And my mom will say, "Oh, you're not a robot?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." You know, and
Yeah.
and there's days where you just have to say, "All right, it's too much for me today, and I'm going to take that walk, or I'm going to turn off my computer at a certain time, or I'm going to, do whatever it
Yeah.
is that's going to make you feel better." And finding whatever it is that's going to help you. And sometimes it's medication, sometimes it's therapy, sometimes it's just calling a friend or calling a family member. But I think it's reaching out and knowing it's okay to reach out. That's the stigma for people that want to just try to solve it by themselves, because that's when dangerous things start to happen to people.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh.
fill the cups of other people when yours is empty. So it starts with self-care, and sometimes that's a conversation, and sometimes that's therapy, and sometimes it's just taking a time out. I
Yeah.
ask for timeouts for my kids. I need 30 minutes because otherwise it's gonna get ugly.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
just tired.
That's a great
Right?
one. Time
Yep.
out.
So
Yeah.
fill your cup, and so the abundance is how you spread the love, and you're able to take care of and be there with the people you love.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
True story. Like us, we found each other. It's
I
our
know.
circle. It's our
Eventually,
team.
we are all going. And Jill, I'm so glad that you are doing better and you found a place that's not as
Yeah.
stressful as where you were before. And you've got a great family, you've got great grandchildren, and they're
We all
always
have to count our blessings and not our struggles.
right. Because
And
we're all
that's
lucky.
hard
I
to
mean,
do sometimes, but yeah.
the three of us, think about how lucky we are that we met. We all have computers, we're all healthy, we're all able to be here today. Think about all the people that don't even have a computer, that aren't healthy enough to
Yeah.
get on this call. You were lucky enough to go grocery shopping and make the meals that you did for me today. So I'm honored to have both of you as my girlfriends, my friends, my peeps, my circle. I know we will always be friends and connected, and hopefully bigger and better things for all of us. And eventually we will go on that girls trip.
Yeah. Eventually.
We
Eventually,
talked about, yeah, we will. And it might be just a little John to Marilee's beach house. It might be something
which is
bigger.
where I'm at.
Right. Who knows
I
where it
was
will be,
I
but
was
it
just
will
down
happen.
there.
No, it will happen.
I was just down there and I thought about you all the time.
Yeah.
But we had itinerary. So yeah. Next
Yeah.
time maybe.
Next
Well, I
time.
would love to have you both on at another time. Now that I've fixed the technical problem, I promise you I won't make you wait 5 to 10 minutes before we go live.
No
So,
worries.
yeah, thank you both.
Thank
And
you.
it's been my pleasure. And stay well, be well. And as always, it's great having you both in my life.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Big
Thank
kisses
you.
and hugs.
Bye.
Virtual hugs.
Thank
I
you,
know.
girlfriend.
Love you guys.
Love you
Take
too.
care.